oyster industry is alive and well, but it gets beset by these challenges. We change a little bit as we develop.
Any seafood product requires two important things. One, the right salinity, and secondly, the right temperature. So our challenge stems from that fact that we need to do our best to get a consistent environment to accommodate that.
We have oyster laws in the state that cover the harvesting of oysters, what type of gear is allowed, when you can harvest. The Department of Health is monitoring our water quality, ensures that the oyster water is clean enough. Oyster water, by the way, has to be 5 times cleaner than water for swimming. So we have a high standard that we have to meet.
Baby oysters will reproduce at 15 parts per thousand at a temperature of 70 plus degrees. It can't get too hot. So our challenge is to stop the destruction of the coastline so that you have too much salt water coming in, but at the same time limit the amount of fresh water that comes into the estuary.
It's ironic, but the Louisiana oystermen, who have been long in favor of doing things to protect our environment, are sometimes now at odds with the coastal restorationists because of their penchant for wanting to run fresh water into the estuary. And when you run too much fresh water, it knocks out your oyster production. It'll kill the oysters that are present, and it'll prevent young crops from establishing themselves. So there needs to be a balance.
As a matter of fact, it's estimated that the first 5 years of any diversion, you destroy more land than you build.
Of course, we have our natural disasters. We have the hurricanes. In the last decade, we had a spate of them, unfortunately, that followed every 2 or 3 years.
When it comes to the coast, a hurricane just relocates the resources. If the hurricane picks up a pile of mud here and grass, it's going to push it in. So you see that exchange, and then through time, everything will rebuild.
Challenges we face are more man-made than environmental. And Mother Nature, whenever she does something to the oyster industry, it rebounds tenfold. The BP oil spill, that's man-made. Man-made scares the heck out of us. Those kind of challenges, we don't know the outcome.
We still haven't fully recovered from the BP spill.
The oil actually didn't kill the amount of oysters, the big oysters that were there, thank God. So there was a reproductive cycle going on, but when they dispersed the oil, it fell through the water column and it just got on top of all our reef and reached at 65 years old. It was naturally reproducing. So it was like a Teflon coat on top of reef, so no babies. 4.5 years with no babies at all. So the only way you can fix that is take new material, what they call culture material, and put it on top and hope it comes back, because a lot of people had some good luck.
Over time, you see that the industry is very resilient. We've had to face imports, we've had to face increased regulation. We have water quality issues that affect where we can harvest and where we can't harvest. We work through those, and we have the long-standing trade organization support that started with the Louisiana Oyster Dealers Growers Association. The Oyster Task Force handles a lot of these issues now.
We have a crisis, whether it's political or environmental. When it's time to come together, there's no hesitating. We come together.
You had the oil and gas industry that came in and began doing exploration and production. They messed up some oyster grounds, and we still had plenty, but you could see that it was beginning to shrink. And now we've gotten to a point where it has really shrunken to such a degree that we have to be very careful now of how to protect it.
When somebody came in and would dredge a channel to access a site for either a drilling rig or a pipeline, that changed the hydrology. And oystermen was there to say, no, we don't think this is a good idea, because the industry, they don't care how they do it. They want to do it fast, they want to do it now. And that's not the way it works in nature. And oystermen have been saying things like that for decades, and nobody would listen until just recently, Louisiana, woke up to the fact in the last, 20 years, it woke up to the fact, well, our coast is eroding. Our land is sinking. Now we need to do something about it. Well, oystermen were saying that 80 years ago. My father, talks about his experience with that. They were looking to do things back then when we had more time, and it was all on a deaf ear. The state wasn't interested. Now, all of a sudden, we have this crisis. Well, this crisis is going to be very tough for the state to be able to fund what's needed to save our coast.
You have to remember that oyster people have always been the ones who have slowed down or limited the destruction caused by oil activities, and nobody else worried about it. I think we can work with the oil industry. One of the things I'm most proud of about our industry is that we have a tremendous relationship, industry, academia, and the government agencies. Everybody tries to cooperate for the betterment of the consumer. I don't know of any industry that enjoys that as much as we do.